So today we've got some things to go over. This right here is the DL7 Tuxedo version. This one right here is a new Sofrin IF23 flashlight. And then we'll go ahead and compare it to the one we had last week. So I'll talk about the multi-tool rather in a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into the flashlight review. So Sofrin actually sent me both of these flashlights. And last week I did a review on the Sofrin SC29. And this week I've been carrying the Sofrin IF23 in my pocket. Now this comes in around $35. It usually is $55, but it's about $20 off right now on their website. So keep that in mind. It's a really nice flashlight, 4.4 ounces, 125 grams. I think it might be a little bit heavier than this one that we reviewed last week. I think they might be fairly identical in price with it on sale. If I remember right, this came in somewhere around the $33 mark, $36 mark, so it's not too far off. Now, they're both magnetic tail caps, so that is really cool. Now, when it comes to the pocket clip, this has just your standard pocket clip, where this one does have the recurve where you could mount it to your hat as well. So I see this more as an EDC budget pocket light, where this one right here, I like to use it at work. Again, it has that magnet right there, which makes it very useful to use on equipment. It has this where you can use it on your hat as well. So I think both those options and this lantern option really make it a good option for work. So here's the battery that goes with the flashlight. Really good specs on this flashlight. Wow, just so much right here for so little price. Now, I did also want to mention that you do get the C cable charging capability with this. Really nice design on this flashlight. Really, really well done. Really appreciate the workmanship. The one thing I did have a tiny bit of issue with is I felt like this might be a little bit of a sharp edge. It doesn't feel like so much now, but keep in mind that's where you can put the wrist strap through, but just keep that in mind. Overall, very impressed with this light though. All right, so when we get into features with this one right here, one of the things you have is you have this moonlight mode right here. If you just press in, hold it for about a second, and then you go level up, and another level up, and then you start to go down. But if you double click it, then you go into turbo. So let's double click it again, goes into strobe, and then it goes, let's see, strobe, and then SOS. So that is the functions with that. And then if we double click it, then we get this lantern function right here. Hold it in, goes up a level, and then again we can click it, goes into hyper bright right there, I'm going to call it. Click it again, we get that strobe. Click it again, we get the SOS. So there we go. And then we get that as well. Yeah. All right, so we can bring it back and then we can go ahead and turn it off. So this light also has a color mode. So we can hit it 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then we can actually change the colors by holding in the button. So there's all kinds, you can watch it change right there. Keep holding it in. We've gone from green, now it's purple, red, and then we're back to that yellow. All right, then we can hit it twice, and then it has this flashing function as well. All right, so a lot of functions. We can hit it 4 times, lock it out, and then it has an automatic lockout after it's not been used for a while. So it is packed with functions. Pretty cool for only $35. I think it's a great value. So on the Moonlight, we get 11 or 1 lumen, and that lasts for 27 days. On low, it's 1,000 lumens for 17.5 hours. On medium, 500 lumens for 4 hours. High is 1,500 lumens, 2.5 hours. Turbo is 4,000, 2 hours. Strobe, again, 4,000 lumens, 4 hours. And 500 lumens, SOS, 12 hours. And then the beacon is 9 hours at 2,000 lumens. So all kinds of information there. And then when you get it, this is the chart that it does come with. So keep that in mind. All kinds of good information right there. So packed with a lot of info. So really cool budget flashlights right here. Really happy that Sofrin sent them in. And again, I feel like this one is better for EDC. This one is better for work. And so I've been enjoying carrying these. All right, just to clarify, when I called this a Tuxedo version, this is just my mod of the regular DL7, but I think it turned out really cool, and I hope you'll enjoy hearing about it. So this is the Daicamping DL7, and it came with titanium scales, but one of the really cool things about this is that you can take the scales off just like the Leatherman Charge. You can take this apart and you can swap out and put in new scales. So that's what I did. I actually bought Leatherman Charge scales. So let me go ahead, collapse this again, move these off here. And then you can see right there, these are Leatherman Charge Plus scales off of a Leatherman Charge Plus. Now, the only modification I had to do was slightly, and I mean very slightly, drill out the bottom right here to make it large enough for the pivots to go through. So I had to do that a little bit, but really not too much. These don't perhaps line up perfectly. There's a little bit more silver on this side. I think a little bit more silver on this side, but I think it looks great, fantastic. So really happy with it. And then I actually took a Swiss Tech pocket clip and I put this on here from one of those half tools. It doesn't fit perfect. It does have movement a little bit. I'm thinking of a better solution, but this is what I've come up with at the moment. So again, some of the things I've learned by doing this mod is that putting the pliers back in is the hardest part because there's a spring right in there. It's really hard to get it in. I scratched up the tool a little bit. So it's definitely easier to put, let's see, I think, how did I do this? So I think I actually found it was a lot easier, yes, to collapse it and then to sort of squeeze it together and put the pivot holes in like that. And that seemed to work a lot better and be a lot easier to do it like that. And then also on this side right here, there are a lot of tiny washers. I think there's about 3 or 4. And then by the time you squeeze them in, it's a little tough to get them in. But I did get all the washers back in the tool. Not sure if they're in the perfectly correct spot, but I got them all back in, and the tool seems to be working really good. So again, we have the serrated blade with the cutting hook. I've really found this useful. This works as a great package opener. So I'm not sure if that's the intended design on the original Leatherman Charge, but it works really good in that option, especially for opening like clamshell packages. Then the knife, of course, the scissors, and then the saw as well. So all those great options. And then of course the 1/4 inch bit driver is a fantastic tool as well. So really excited about that. Now, one of my next projects I think will be on Etsy. They actually are selling an orange set of scales for the Leatherman Charge, and I plan to buy those and actually put them on my other DL7, which will look great. So I'm really excited about that, really happy about that. I did have a couple issues. Actually, I'm not sure if I did taking these apart. I think these pivots actually were a little bit easier to take apart. I had issues actually taking this half tool apart is what I did have issues with. So some of those, the steel on them seems a little softer. So it's a little bit harder to get the pocket clip off. And one I was not able to get off because I stripped it out. So be very careful, again, when you're taking these apart or putting them back together, that you don't strip out those, because then you may have to go to the grinder and start again. So overall, very positive experience, very happy, really enjoy carrying this. I think it looks really good. And again, this came up, the scales on eBay. If you look, you can get them for about $20. Right now, there's a buy it now option for a set of 4 for about $35. So again, the tool is $50. So then for an extra, I think I spent about $20. So I got a $70 Leatherman Charge Plus, essentially. You know, this isn't exactly, but it's super close. So I think that's a pretty good deal. All right, we'll see you in the next one.